Today we're going to be reviewing this pretty sexy looking affordable Telecaster that might be just perfect for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show, guys. Today we're taking a look at this beautiful Telecaster from Donner. This is a Donner Standard Series Telecaster in beautiful Olympic white. Isn't it sexy? I love Olympic white in a Telecaster, guys. I'm telling you, awesome color choice, I gotta say. So Donner has released pretty affordable Telecasters, which I think deserve to be looked at. Now we're going to be playing this guitar in a second, and I'm going to make you hear both the neck and the bridge pickup here. As I mentioned, the switching on this guitar is three-way like usual, nothing crazy here, no push-pull pots, and we'll see what these stock pickups can do. There's no indication on the website what they are in terms of pickups, what kind of magnets they use, so we'll let our ears be the judge. All right, guys? First of all, the price. These guitars retail for about $200, which is mind-boggling if you ask me. I don't know how they give you a full-blown assembled guitar for $200 when you can't even buy the parts to put it together here in Canada or in the US for that matter for that kind of money. Information on the Donner website is a little bit sketchy. We don't really know too much in terms of details, but I'm going to try and tell you what I do know. They claim the body on this guitar is made of poplar, and so is the neck. The back of the neck is poplar, which is not necessarily a bad choice. It's just a more affordable choice. The front of the neck is not clear to me. I'm assuming it's Indian laurel, but it looks really nice in terms of the color. Look at this. Beautiful, nice dark color. There's no blotchiness to the neck or anything like that. Sometimes you get these Indian laurel necks that are just like faded and look dry. This one doesn't. Beautiful. 22 frets. Now the fretboard on this guitar has standard dot inlays, nothing too crazy. Overall, this is a pretty standard Telecaster design. There's no hanky-panky fancy switching or anything like that on this guitar. It's pretty much a straightforward Telecaster design. And if you ask me, those are the best, you know? Workhorses, you don't have to get crazy, just a standard layout that everybody's accustomed to and comfortable with. You'll notice that the frets on this guitar are rather thin. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm gonna be honest. I prefer at least a medium-sized fret most of the time. But I mean, I could overlook that. It's $200, guys. All right, so you can't expect custom shop quality here, but medium-sized frets tend to last a little longer, so maybe if you play the heck out of this guitar, the frets would probably need to be changed earlier on, but hey, I probably use this guitar as a rehearsal guitar anyways, so no big deal there. The nut on this guitar is not bone. Unfortunately, it's plastic, okay? But the slots are cut nicely. I'm not surprised that it's plastic. Most guitars in this price range will give you a plastic nut. If we look at the tuners are chrome style tuners, 6-in-line. They work, they stay in tune, but I've seen better quality tuners in my life. I love the choice of pickguard they put on here. It goes really well with the Olympic white color. It's a 3-ply pickguard, so it looks really, really nice. The knurled knobs, volume and tone, feel nice. These are small mini pots. that's very common in overseas guitars, and the standard sort of import type switch. Not terrible, but eventually if it does fail, you probably would want to replace those with a CTS switch and maybe full-size pots, but I don't expect them to fail anytime soon. They shouldn't anyways. I'm happy to report that everything is actually centered. I've seen so many guitars, not just import guitars, but even more expensive guitars, have the strap locks set in an incorrect position, not centered with the body. My OCD kicks in when I see stuff like that, guys, and I'm happy to report that everything is nicely centered with the center line of the body, as well as, this way centered. So that's nice to see. Now, I look at the details that are important, such as the neck pockets, because obviously, sometimes when you are dealing with inexpensive guitars, that's where the, let's just say, shortcomings appear. This guitar has a very tight, snug neck pocket. No cracks at all in the paint job that you sometimes see when the neck pocket is too tight, but it's very, very snug. So you can't even slip a piece of paper in there, guys. And that's what you want to see. Beautiful on both sides. I mean, I'm really stunned by the quality of the body on this guitar. And it looks really, really great. And if you're not into the white, like I mentioned, you can probably find these in black and sunburst as well. So that's also an option. All right, so let's look at the radius of the fretboard, because I didn't talk about that. This radius is probably a 10 or a 12-inch radius. I didn't get my radius gauges out. I'm just eyeballing it, but just to say it's not a vintage style radius where it's very, very curved, and it's very comfortable to play. The neck fits really nicely in my hand. Easy to bend the notes. I like to strum hard, and it's nice to see that I wasn't getting any notes that were fretting out on this guitar. So in terms of setup, the guitar is actually set up out of the box to a certain degree, but there's certain things that you're going to have to do as well. So intonation is ballpark. So you're going to have to sort of work that out, especially if you change the strings. No big deal. I usually do that anyways when I change strings on my guitar. The relief on the neck was nice. Didn't have to adjust that. The action is even a little bit low, which I actually prefer. So I didn't have to worry too much about that. The other thing that was not done on this guitar is the adjustment for the saddles. The saddles were pretty much midlined all the way through. So usually I like my saddles to match the curvature radius of the fretboard. So if this is a 12 or a 10, then I usually try and follow that curvature. These are pretty much flat, so they kind of made it a starting point for you, and you would have to adjust it to your liking. So that's something to be done. One of the things that I thought was cool that I don't really see every day is the neck pickup on this guitar. The neck pickup on this guitar is not your typical flat Telecaster pickup. It's actually curved. It actually has a curve that follows the curvature of the neck. And that I thought was a great idea. I don't see that too often. Usually they're flat. So it's nice to see that, because once you set up your strings that follow the curvature of the radius of the neck, the neck pickup will also follow that. So it should actually be even better. That's pretty sweet. I mentioned it's a string through body design, and I'm happy to report that all of the holes in the back where the ferrules are perfectly aligned. I can't tell you how many times I see these things crooked, even on very expensive guitars. So they got it right, and I'm happy to see that. The plate in the back of the neck here is laser engraved, and it says Donner EST 2012, crafted in China. So they're not trying to deny or hide the fact that these are overseas guitars, which I don't have a problem with as long as they're well built. One of the things that I was pleased to see also is the thickness of the base plate of the bridge. It's pretty thick, and so is the plate that covers the tone and volume knob here. Don't like to see the little cheap, really thin ones that don't look very good. These ones look like they're solid. One of the things that I do kind of question, and I'm scratching my head about this one because I'm not really sure why I'm seeing this, all right? The bridge here has 6 independent saddles. Nothing unusual there. And they're pretty much the bent type saddle that you would normally see on a Strat. Again, not unusual. But what is unusual is that the actual bridge plate here has holes drilled in the back of it to accommodate the screws, which is common, but there's 2 series of holes, one above the other, and they're not in line with each other. So I'm scratching my head. I'm not understanding why I'm seeing that. It almost looks to me like this bridge was intended to be a hardtail. So you would put the strings in here and then put them through your saddles. But it's definitely not a hardtail design. And the holes, since they're not aligned, it's almost like perhaps they made a mistake when they machined the part and decided just to put in the screws on the top holes and be done with it, and not necessarily, you know, throw out these bridge plates. I don't know, guys. I'm not really sure. It's the first time I see this. I don't know what to say. I'm just pointing it out. If you guys have a better explanation, please let me know. I'll put a picture there so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not sniffing the glue. It's actually there. So that's a little bit odd. And because they're using the topmost holes, the saddles are a little bit tilted downwards. And I'm not sure if that's the best scenario. All right. So I wanted to point that out so you guys are not surprised if you see that on your guitar. Maybe this is just an anomaly and I got a strange one. Maybe the other ones are fine, but I wanted to point that out. So after listening to those sound samples, I can definitely hear the brightness in the bridge pickup. It definitely has a little bit more bite and output and a lot more highs than the neck pickup does. The neck pickup is not bad, but I would like it to be just a little bit more bright and clear, just to balance out with the bridge pickup a little bit more. You can definitely dial back any type of highs that you feel is excessive with the tone knob, but it's difficult to give more brightness and clarity to a neck pickup if it's already dark. Again, this guitar is about $200. It's very difficult to get good quality pickups in a guitar at that price point. You can easily spend more for a set of pickups than the entire cost of this guitar. So to wrap up, guys, I think that the guitar definitely gives you a lot for your money. It's not a custom shop Telecaster by any means, but honestly, with a little bit of TLC and maybe some pretty inexpensive upgrades, you could make this guitar pretty great. So guys, if you like the kind of reviews we're putting out here on Addicted to Gear, please help the channel and subscribe. Don't be that guy that hasn't subscribed yet. Plus, I want to take the opportunity to invite you to our live Sunday shows. That's right, we got a live show every Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, AM, not PM, where we talk about gear live. And it's not just me, it's a whole bunch of other gear addicted guys that have a lot of fun, a lot of knowledge, and we share all that information with you. So participate, you're gonna love it. See you there.